Another approach to solve multi-objective problems is to use a minimax or maximin method. We are going to use here minimax, but analogously you could use maximization of the minimum. So minimax, I'm going to delete this, right? Minimax, the idea is that we want to minimize the larger of the two functions, where you put here f1 of x and f2 of x, right? And so the idea is, if I minimize function 1 and function 2, this approach basically says, you know, if one of them is very high, first lower it, right? And whichever one is worse, this one you should minimize, right? So I want you to see that in this case, this min is actually the optimization min, right? This is saying minimize for me, but what do you minimize? This calculation, take the larger of the two function values and minimize that, right? This is like minimizing for the worst case, okay? If you have two objective functions which are you know, expressing something for two different departments or for two different people, you might say, I want to be fair and I want to minimize whoever has a worse situation. For that person, I want to first optimize, okay? And if I choose another solution that suddenly makes it unfair for the other person, then again, I will optimize for that person, because this is always taking the worst. You know, the maximin approach just reverses. You maximize the minimum, like it's also another approach to fairness. The problem with this is that both objectives, in this case, should be, both original objectives should be min and uniform. Okay, and again, why uniform? Because I'm taking the larger of the two values, but if I have now hours and scenic points, again, 10 scenic points is not the same as 10 hours, right? So why should I treat them as if they are the same? If you have non-uniform objectives, and worse than this, one of them is maximization, so somehow I should change the sign of it, right? Because I don't want to minimize scenic points, I want to maximize, but this would minimize objective number 2, right? So to apply it for non-uniform objectives, we can minimize maximum of deviations, right? And remember, deviations we can define as before, right? So for function 1, which is already minimized, I need deviation above target, right? So f1 of x minus t1, right? And put this whole thing in parentheses and then divide by t1, right? This is one deviation. This is deviation again above target. I'm minimizing. I want it as little above as possible. And the other deviation would be, right, t2 minus f2 of x divided by t2 by t2, right? And so this would be the approach, right? So minimize maximum of those two deviations. Now this is correct logic, but if I want to now, right, remove this objective, and put instead this objective, right? That's one objective instead of two. The problem is this max function, it's not linear, okay? And remember, whenever we can preserve linearity, we should, okay? We shouldn't leave the model nonlinear if we could somehow create a linear model, because remember, we want to have guarantees about optimality once we solve it, right? So what to do to keep the model linear, okay? To keep the model linear, I'm not going to put it right like this. I'm not going to minimize exactly this. I am going to instead do as follows, where we need new variable q, okay? Just I'm naming it q, which is maximum deviation from target, okay? And then I will minimize that new variable q, and then I will add constraints, okay, new constraints, and I will say q must be greater than or equal to this deviation, And also second constraint, right? Oops. Okay, and Q must be greater than or equal the second deviation, right? And remember, one deviation is below the target, the other is above the target, but we don't care. We just want to minimize the larger of those two deviations, right? So one deviation and the other deviation. Now I want you to see this model is actually linear, but it has one new variable, two new constraints for each objective one, and the objective is now minimizing Q. And how does it work? Well, right, the Minimax approach, basically you minimize the new variable Q, but then this variable cannot be smaller, right? It has to be greater than or equal than each deviation, okay? So if those deviations are not balanced, Q can be, the lowest value of Q is maximum of those deviations, right? If this deviation is, I don't know, 30% and this deviation is 10%, then Q has to be 30%, right? So optimal value for Q will be 30%. If you want to lower it, this 30%, you have to look at the deviation that is actually 30% and lower it, change a solution where that deviation will drop. Maybe the other deviation will increase, but we don't care, right? As long as the maximum deviation drops, the solution will be improved, okay? So the Minimax approach, this is the formulation we need. And remember, the logic is we actually minimize maximum of those deviations, but the implementation requires you to write this. So basically the resulting model I want you to see is that it's this whole model again. If I would ask you to write this in the exam, you have to write this whole model, the variables, right, as before. The core model remains. So these constraints, these variables, you have to write, not the objective, right? Instead, you still have to write there is a new variable. There is this objective, and there are these two constraints. Okay, that's your full model. Okay, the original constraints about network flow, you still have to keep them, the original variables, but there's one more variable. The objective is just minimize this variable and two constraints to make sure the variable meaning is ensured, right? It's maximum deviation from target. Okay, so in this case, again, there is no weights, just targets, and the user can then change the targets to find different solutions that the user wants, right? To find something that the user will be satisfied with. So how do we implement this model in Excel? Well, as before, we need the targets, right? So I need targets. Okay, let's use again our Utopia point 11.5 and 35, right, as a target. We can change it later on, but let's use it as a starting value for the target. Now we need to calculate deviations. This is similar calculation to the weighted sum, right? Because it's again deviations from targets. Okay, so deviations will be calculated. Remember, the first one is function minus target over target. So function is here, right? I actually have to put it in parentheses. Function minus target, and then divide by the target. Okay, so this is the 38% as before. Let me put it in percentage format. And the second one, right, this is second deviation. It's target minus function, again in parentheses, target minus function divided by target, right? Don't divide by the function, divide because target is a constant. Okay, again, put percentage, right? Both of these are formulas. Okay, so these are deviations. But now I don't want to right, minimize the weighted sum of those deviations. I want to put, right, whichever is the larger, and again, I don't want to just say equals max of those, because remember, if I do it like this, right, if I put max deviation, let's say max deviation, that's not a linear function. If you minimize this, the solver will not be able to use the simplex method. So this is not what we want, right? We want a new variable, okay, new variable Q, right, which is max deviation, okay. So this will be a new decision variable, okay. And now I need to make sure Q is greater than or equal than this deviation and greater than or equal than this deviation, right? So this will also be some percentage value, okay. Later on we will see what the value is, right? This is the new variable. So again, we go to the solver and implement this model. So I go to the solver, and what did we say? Instead of this objective, now I want to minimize the new variable. So I will change the objective to minimize Q, minimize, but I need to add this as a new variable. So the original variables that I have, I keep them. I will press here comma and select this Q variable as an additional decision variable. It's not going to be, right, network flow. It's not a flow variable. Okay, it's another type of variable. It expresses maximum deviation. Okay, and as before, because I'm now adding constraints, I will add constraints. Both of those values must be, or sorry, actually Q should be greater than or equal each of those values. I'm not sure if the solver will accept it like this now. So I need to add them separately. Q greater than or equal this deviation, add, and Q greater than or equal this deviation, right? So I added two constraints, right? Q must be not smaller, greater than equal than this, greater than equal to this. If you minimize Q, it will set itself on the larger of those two deviations. But again, I want you to see if I try to solve this, okay, the same problem as before will occur. Okay, solver found a solution. The deviations are perfectly in balance, 17.3%. But I want you to see again, I have a fractional solution, and this is unacceptable, right? So I need to, why did it happen? Again, because we added constraints. Again, we added constraints that are not network flow, right? So we destroyed the network flow structure. Therefore, we shouldn't expect integer solutions anymore. If I want integer solution, I have to ensure it by adding binary constraint in this case for the variables. So I added, right, options, tolerance 0, click solve, and now I have a solution. And you see now those deviations are not in perfect balance. One is 17.1, the other is 17.4, and the maximum deviation you see it's set to 17.4, and it's not possible to lower that maximum deviation below this value. So again, if we look at the solutions that are being, right, returned, right, again, we start from these two extreme points, right, minimizing the travel time or maximizing the scenic points. Remember, this point is a utopia, right? And these are some extreme points for single objective optimization. Okay, so what did we get now? What solution did we obtain? 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11. I think this is a solution we obtained before, right? Copy it from here, paste, right? We have this point, right? And it's actually balancing the objectives, you know, in a sense, because, you know, for these targets, we are roughly equally away from those targets, right? So the deviations from targets are being balanced, right? The larger of them is minimized, okay? So with this approach, the user or decision maker can change the targets and try to obtain different solutions, right? So how should we change the targets, right? So for example, the user might say, you know, I'm not satisfied with this solution because maybe the travel time is too long. I don't need to be so close to 35 scenic points. Let me change the target for scenic points to 25, okay? And let's see what happens, okay? Now we are above the target, so actually deviation deviation below the target, which is what we're minimizing, is negative, right? So let's try to solve the problem once again, okay? And what did we get now? We get a solution 11.5 and 25, right? 12.6, right? These are the values. Okay, we got a solution 12.6 and 22. Okay, and then let's decode that solution 1, 3, 3, 6, 6, 8, 8, 10, 10, 11, right? So 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11, right? Both of those solutions, we can see them on the graph. The previous one was 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11. The new one is 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11. I think we found the solution before with another approach, right? So you see, now that I changed the target, you see, where is the target now? The target is 11.5 and 25. When I use this as a target, this was the solution, right? Somehow the deviations are, the relative deviations are roughly balanced. But when I change the target to 11.5, which is still this, right? And 25, which is much lower, which is here. I change the target to this point, right? New target. Okay. I shifted the solution that was found now by the solver is this, because this one is somehow the closest to the target. You see 9.6% and 12% are the deviations. Maximum deviation 12% is minimized, and this model is linear, and still it's able to find the solution. So depending on where the user chooses the target, they can obtain different efficient solutions. If we spend enough time, we could probably find all efficient solutions with this approach, right? So now, after this little experimentation, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 efficient solutions. Remember, this is just utopia, not a solution, right? This was just a target, and the second time we chose somewhere target here. Okay, this was a target 2. Okay, so so this is the Minimax approach. Right, and you can apply it when you minimize maximum deviation, when you create deviations from targets as we did here, right, and you minimize then deviations. All deviations are being minimized. You of course use Minimax approach, but if you have uniform objectives to begin with, and they are all minimizations, then you don't have to create relative deviation. So an example would be a location problem where you try to put, let's say, there are 10 houses and you want to put a fire station that is close to each house. Then each house has an objective to minimize the travel time from that house or from the fire station to that house is, right? There's 10 objectives like this because there is 10 houses. And you can say, I want to minimize the maximum distance, maximum travel time out of those 10 objectives, right? There will be a Minimax approach. Similarly, you could have, some decision problems where there is several objectives with the same units and you want to maximize the minimum. Again, in this case, minimum would be the worst, right? So you want to be fair. If you maximize minimum, you will be fair to these objectives. You will care most about the one that is the worst, that is the lowest. Okay, so this is the Minimax and Maximin approaches, and in this case, I demonstrated for you the Minimax approach, how to model it and how to implement it in Excel.